just make sure you are constantly a learner of the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is I'm constantly learning no matter what.
All right, so first of all, welcome to Embrace the Process podcast. So today I have a special guest with me. So I know you guys are going to love this episode. This is Paul, who is my main man out in Hawaii. So Paul has actually started Phase 1 Hawaii years ago, which we'll talk about, and has literally built the Phase 1 brand right there on the island. So we'll get into some details. We'll have a little bit of fun. But what's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm just glad to be out here again, and it's been a minute.
Yeah.
And it's just, good to be at home, basically.
Yeah, right. So this is your original home?
Yes.
All right. So how long ago, or what made you leave Las Vegas?
Well, I'm originally from Hawaii, but I came out here to play football.
Okay.
I lived out here for 9 years.
Yeah.
And then again, we met in that process in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And, it was just time. It was just time, different changes in my life from the life I was living in Vegas, being in the industry of the hotels, the nightclubs and all of that. And I just decided to go back home.
Yeah, no doubt. So I remember, we met at it was like a Super Bowl party or something like that,
Super Bowl,
right?
so it was a friend of a friend,
Yep.
all Hawaii linked.
Yep.
And I believe his son was 9 at the time.
Is he that young?
Something like that.
Wow.
And he said, let me introduce you to my son's trainer.
Yeah, you're like,
there's trainer.
He's 9 years old.
Yeah, 9 years old.
Why does he have a trainer?
Exactly. So, that's how we met.
Yeah.
And, that's where we're at today.
So I think what was cool, which I think I definitely want people to know, because I thought it was super cool. So when you left Vegas and went to Hawaii, you would send me I think it was emails maybe. I think it was an email, but it would be every year.
Yeah, once a year.
It was once a year. It was every January I would get an email that's I want to bring Phase 1 to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'm almost ready. And it would just be, and I would always reply yeah, cool, man. Just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah.
So what was it about Phase 1 and what we do and how we help athletes? What made you want to do that in Hawaii? What made you realize, man, this would be dope. We need to bring it out to the island.
Yeah. So, when I met you initially, again, it was what? Why do you need a trainer for a kid? I didn't understand that at first. But when I moved back home, and this was in 2006, were you in your new facility or the one before this?
2006, yeah, we were still on Spring Mountain.
Still on Spring Mountain.
Yeah,
so at that time, I didn't really get it, but then I started following you, through social media and whatnot. And I'm actually an entrepreneur by heart.
Yeah.
So, not necessarily in the fitness industry, but just in general.
Yeah.
And, I was always looking for something new to do.
Yeah.
And in Hawaii, it's just very hard.
Yeah.
You got to pick your poison because you invest in the wrong thing and you lose money.
Yeah.
So years went by. Every year I said, Mike, I think I'm ready.
Literally.
And Mike said, I'm ready.
Every year.
Every year.
Every
and then I'm like,
year.
wait, I'm not ready.
Hold on.
Yeah, another year. I think it took literally about 3 or 4 years till I finally said,
Wow.
Mike, no, now I'm ready. And the reason is because I took my younger son. I have 2 boys, one who's 21 now, one's 13.
Okay.
My 13-year-old was about 5 years old at the time. And we took him to this one, what they called, I don't even want to say the name of it, but it was a training for kids.
Okay.
And they had about 10 circuits. I paid $20 for it. And it was a day of just moving in circuits. And I looked at it, and not to put anybody down, but I wasn't just impressed.
Yeah.
So at that point, I said, you know what? This is where we need to bring it, Phase 1 to Hawaii. And just following you along the time, then, you're in your gym. And I'm like, wow, that's a dope gym.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but how do we do it in Hawaii?
Wow. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So I guess one of the first things, man, that stands out to me is that, the persistence. So in between those emails, per year, what were some things that were you looking at? Were you looking at the market or the athletes or the amount of scholarships? You know what I mean? Because it was literally pretty consistent every year for 3 or 4 years. Right. But what was that thought process during that time?
Well, again, I was kind of in and out of different businesses during that time. But sports is me.
Yeah,
I grew up playing sports. I was a coach at one point. I was actually a trainer at 24 Fitness when I moved here. So I was already kind of in the industry, but not in.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that was the thing. I just knew Hawaii needed more. So every time I would hit you up, something would resonate where I'm like, okay, now I think it's time, because I saw something on the news where, you know, athletes not getting enough looks, or you know, they just need more of something.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Good. Love it. So and this is the part that I think is super cool to me, because obviously I'm into, you know, brands and building a brand and business and fitness industry and all that good stuff. How were you able to really start from scratch? Because at the end of the day, phase one had a name here in Vegas, and this is what, the ninth island or whatever. So I get that there is some connection,
right?
But in reality, there was no phase one in Vegas. I mean, in Hawaii, there was nothing really, you know, you had to start from nothing. So like, what was that process like?
It was hard, you know, I'm not going to lie. I mean, but in my mind, I knew it was something the community needed.
Yeah. And
you asked me this earlier, which I didn't really answer, was why phase one? It was because you were doing it the way I would want to do it.
Yeah.
You as a person especially is the reason why. Like, we connected right off the back, and we're just the same person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was huge for me, because there's a lot of times where you partner with people and it doesn't work out. You know how that goes.
Yep.
So, you know, just through that process, phase one was the brand that I wanted. And here's the biggest thing. In Hawaii, it's a different beast.
Yeah.
So I didn't want it to be about me, Paul's training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I wanted to connect it to something where they could go do their Google research.
Yeah.
And even though it's not in Hawaii, they've never heard of it, it'll link back to the phase one brand, and they'll see who's training here and whatnot, see the gym, and you know, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.